Hey everybody, welcome back to Painted Plastic. Brandon here with episode 8 of the Master Grade Zaku build. And I know I said this episode we'd carry on with the suit and get it all assembled, but I completely forgot about the base. We haven't done a thing with the base yet, so that's what this episode is going to be about. We'll get back to the suit after that. I went to my local craft shop and picked up a box. This is very similar to if you saw the RX-78-2 build earlier, actually it was the first build series. Same kind of box, right? Just a little wooden box, right? And then out in my shed I had some leftover just little moldings, right? So I cut those down. They're gonna go along the sides, right? Something like that. After everything is all assembled, we will give it a quick shot of paint. I haven't really decided. I think I want to do red to kind of bring out the red on the suit. But we'll see how that goes. Give me 1 second to get these things all glued up. All I'm going to use is just some regular old wood glue, right? Just regular old wood glue. So I'm going to get those all attached, and when we come back, we'll carry on with what's next. So be right back. All right, everybody. Got the trim mounted on the base, right? Pretty simple. I didn't film any of that because I did it all out in the shed, and basically just cut the trim to length and use some wood filler, right? Just to fill any gaps and holes, and yep, got it all ready to go. I masked the top because the paint I've decided to use is a spray, a rattle can product. It's this red color. I thought that'd be nice. Anyway, I masked the top because I'm not sure how, I want to do some kind of diorama stuff on top, and I'm not sure how that will work with this, gloss enamel paint on top. So I figured I would just mask that off, spray the rest of it, and then we'll carry on with the top. All right, so I'm going to take this outside, get it all painted up. When we come back, we'll start working on the top surface, and I've got some neat ideas for that. I'm hoping we can make it look kind of cool. So yeah, give me 1 second. We're gonna get some color on this thing. All right, there we have it, all red, right, ready to go. I think that'll look nice with the red on the mobile suit. We'll see. I may do some more stuff around, maybe I don't know. I may do some more to the red once everything else is done, but we'll do that later. All right. Next up is the top, right? And let's see, do I have a pencil? Yes, I do. All right. So what I'm kind of thinking, I've just got a pencil. Is, let's say, if this is the front, what I'm kind of thinking is maybe I'll have a big rock kind of right here, and that's where the pilot will sit, right? Something like that. And then I'm thinking maybe this will be like almost like a dirt road kind of thing, that it'll come up like this, and maybe the rock will stick out into the path a little bit, so it'll kind of look like this, right? And then the mobile suit can stand, somewhere over here. This pattern might change, obviously, but something like that, to where we've got a big rock up front for the pilot to stand on, and then the mobile suit feet, will be, something about like that. He'll be standing just off to the side, or maybe even a little closer, more in the center up here. I don't know. This is all just brainstorming, right? We'll get to that in a little while. First thing first, we need to mask off the red so that I don't get any glue or nonsense there. Just going to use some regular old painter's tape, right? Mask it off just like I did the top. It's more just a protection. So, yep, that's kind of what we're going to do. is get this thing masked up, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, there we go, all taped up, ready to go. You see I left a little edge, right, the tape hanging over. I'm hoping that's going to help me so that when I get up around the edge, I can get a nice kind of build up a little bit, maybe. But we'll see. Might not work like I think. Anyway, the next step. During the break, I put together the lower legs, or the legs. I think if I have him standing, something like that, maybe we can have the path come kind of like this, right? And then it'll come off the rock and be like that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of planning this as I go, y'all. All right, so the first thing I'm going to want to do is mix up some dirt, right? This is the first step. Get a little dirt. And I just got some plain old water, right? Basically making mud. Your kids will love this part. A little bit of... Oh, I don't have a stirry stick. 1 second, let me grab a stirry stick. I'm just gonna mix this up. Literally making mud, right? Got this dirt right out of the backyard. It's not some fancy dirt. It's right out of the backyard. Scooped it out, put it in the pot. All right, so what's next? Got dirty. Now that we got mud, Mod Podge. I love this stuff. If you do any kind of diorama things, get some of this. I mean, you can use it as a sealer. You can use it as a glue. It's nice stuff. So we are going to liberally add some Mod Podge, right? And mix that all up. And I look for the whole thing to be sort of uniform, that cement color, or, sort of that color. Now the glue will dry clear, so all of the dirt and sticks and twigs, that'll all still be visible. But, initially I kind of look for that concrete color, right? Cement sort of color, right? All right. Now, the fun part. Really, I should have something down under this because it's getting messy. Let's just set that to the side for a second. Got a brush, right? Just a grubby old, pretty stiff bristle. And literally, I just dab this stuff on right up to the edge. All those little clumps are perfectly fine. They'll just look like, bumps in the road or whatever. Now I'm just going over some spots that look kind of light, that might need a little extra oomph. And kind of keeping in mind where I want the Gundam to step. I want to keep that somewhat level. Voila. This will take forever to dry. Fair warning. It will be a good, solid 24 hours, maybe even a little beyond that for some of these, really, because like around the edges in some places it's kind of deep, so it will take a while to dry. But let it fully cure, and then if you have any light spots after it's fully cured, then kind of deal with that and go over top of what's already dry. All right, gonna let this dry for a full rotation of the earth. See you in a bit. All right, everybody, here's the first stage all dry. Nice and dry, nice and firm. Yeah. What's next? Well, I was thinking about the sort of layout, and I said I wanted the bot to stand sort of like that, maybe. I don't know, somewhere in the middle like that. And I'd like to have a rock for the pilot to stand on, so I grabbed these two just out of the driveway, right? And I chose these two because they both had a relatively flat bottom, right? Could stand it up nicely. And I started with this one kind of like this, and it doesn't look bad. It sits pretty nicely. But two things I didn't like about this one. One, there's not really a flat top for the pilot to stand on, right? Yeah, it's not bad. But then I grabbed this one, and I really kind of like this one because, for one thing, you know, the top is relatively flat. Still got a nice bottom, and there's all these little flecks. I don't even know if that's going to come out on camera. I hope it does. But there's all these nice flecks in the rock, and I think that looks kind of cool. Plus, you know, it sort of fits the space a little better. Then the little pilot, you know, we can stand him. He's not going to stand up here on his own, I guarantee it. But, you know, we can have him standing up here. Whoops, gracious. Glue gun, right? Just going to put a heaping blob right here on the center. And I knew that was going to happen. Hang on a second. All right, now let's go. Had to refill my glue gun. I knew that was going to happen. I should have done it before I started rolling. So now I get a big old blob, and I don't really mind if some of this kind of pops out because we're gonna do other stuff. So, you know, this isn't the last stage. There we go. Get that little string out of there. And I want it placed. I don't want it like perfectly square. I want it kind of poking in. So something maybe about like that. So that's glued in place. You know, once it fully hardens, it'll be the immovable stone. All right. So what's after that? Well, we got to get our Mod Podge again, right? And a little cup, which I know I grabbed a little. There they are. Sorry, excuse me. I knew I grabbed them. I just didn't know where I put them. We're going to just put a little bit of this Mod Podge in the little cup. You know what? Shaky, shake, 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 shake. All right. A little bit of Mod Podge. Yeah, about like that. All right. And what else do we need? We also need the brush I grabbed. Again, this is a pretty stiff bristle brush, right? And we need some leaves, right? Now this is store-bought. My local hobby shop, they have all sorts of kind of railroad stuff and diorama stuff. So picked up a few things. This is just some like little foam bits. It kind of looks like grass and flowers. And then these are kind of larger chunks, right? And we're going to use some of those. I'll go back after this part and we'll do some stuff on top of this even. So I'm just going to pull out a chunk, set it to the side. And did I grab? I don't think I grabbed my tweezers. I always forget something, don't I, y'all? Y'all know. Always forget something. All right. I'm just going to take out some of the larger sticks, right? We don't need that kind of stuff. All right. 1 second. Tweezers. All right. Now I may actually be ready. Take a little bit of this and just kind of dab a spot, right? And I like to do sort of little bits at a time and sort of lay it out. So then you take this stuff. I don't really want that piece. You take this stuff and just All right, I think I'm gonna leave this stage here, right? Again, this will take several hours to dry. I'll leave it for several hours, probably at least 6 or 8 hours before I'll mess with it. Once the glue goes clear, you know it's dry, and then we'll carry on with the next step. So let this sit for a bit. When we come back, we'll do the next step. All right, everybody, what's next? All the grass is pretty well dry. I'm gonna try to do some little smaller stones around. These are just kind of, I mean, they're not glued down. They're just kind of put in place to see where stuff's gonna go. And we're just gonna kind of stick these down, and then there'll be other stuff to go after this, but this is the next step. So glue gun, and not gonna need much glue here at all, just a little dab right on the bottom, and something about like that. Like that. And like that. All right, there we go. So what is next? Well, next we're going to do some leaves and stuff around. Let me get everything kind of put together, and I'll show you more like what we're going to do after that. All right, everybody, got the next step all set up. What I've got here is some leaves and stuff that I just grabbed out of the backyard. Ran them through the blender, you know, got them chopped down to these little sizes. That's what we got. I've got a little paintbrush here to kind of move stuff around. And then this is just Mod Podge that's been diluted about 50-50 with water, right? Just in a little squirt bottle. That's why I've got the paper down here as well. It's going to get messy. So, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to take some of this stuff, and I try to get, you know, some of the finer particles. And let's see, going to be some around here, maybe a little bit back here around this rock. And I'm putting this right on dry. I haven't put any glue on the surface. I'm really just going around sort of everything, you know, leaving spots, still trying to keep it somewhat random. All right. So we got a little bit, got a little bit now. I'm going to just kind of knock stuff off that's up on top, brush stuff back into the edges. See, I don't want leaves up on top of those bushes, you know what I mean? Now I'm just kind of knocking it around, giving it some random hits, so won't look like I sort of laid it out there, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's basically what I'm looking for. I think I might just sprinkle a few here and there across the top, just so it doesn't look completely barren. Now we take our solution, right? And like I said, I've got this in a spray bottle, mixed 50-50 with water. It's regular old, same thing we've been using the whole time, right? Mod Podge. And just mixed 50-50 from about 6 or 8 inches away. Just lightly kind of, and it might move some of the leaves. That's okay. Just going to give this a really good coat. And it's going to get all over everything, but that's all right. As long as everything gets a good coat, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. All right, now I'm going to take my old grubby brush, and I just want to wipe the pools off of the rocks, because it'll look like a clear spot on the rock, and I kind of don't want that. So just wipe away any excess. I just dab it off on the paper. But all of these rocks have glue on them now. And that's okay. It's going to dry matte, but I just don't want any pools, right? Let me give this a few hours. We'll be right back to check this out and see what's next. Back in a minute. All right, everybody, here we go. Bases all done. Not completely dry, I don't think, but it's tacked off enough that we can kind of take a look at it. I was looking at the base itself, and yeah, it's a little too shiny and bright, right? So I think what I'm going to do here is, once this is fully cured, right, I was just going to give it a matte coat over everything just to kind of matte it all down, matte this down. But this is a little too bright and shiny, so I think I may do a really light gunk wash on the red. You've already seen how to do that. I did that in the last video or the one before. I don't know. You've already seen a gunk wash. Going to do the same thing just on the red parts. I'm going to be real careful, not to get it up here at all. But yeah. And then once that is dry, I'll matte coat the whole thing, and the base will be finished. So yeah, I'm going to leave this episode here. The next one we will carry on with this guy. We'll get him all put together. Now that the oils are dry, I'm going to give everything here a quick matte coat, and then we'll start the final assembly, and hopefully finish up this kit in the next episode. Have the base all done, have the kit all done, and yeah, that's the plan. So as always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the base thingies. Yeah. So we will see you on episode 9. Thanks for hanging out.